Hey pillars, I have some breaking news. French police have arrested the Tour de France spectator who caused a mass pileup, the report says. Now I got this article from Insider, so I will link it down in the description below, but I do want to talk about it, touch up on my thoughts, hear what you guys have to say down below, because I think this is going to be very interesting regarding the consequences that the person that caused this crash will face, because it gets very technical and I will explain my thoughts. I am no way a lawyer. People get really triggered. You don't have to be an expert to talk about something. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just a cycling fan, rider, racer, watcher that loves the Tour de France and everything else cycling, that wants to share their opinion. Now the article goes on to say French police have arrested the spectator who caused a huge crash at the Tour de France on Saturday. Luxembourg media outlet RTL reported Wednesday that the woman has been arrested and is in custody in Landerneau, the town in which Saturday's stage finished 15 miles from Brest, where the tour began. So it seems like she did the dash, she did the race from the incident. As soon as it happened, she knew to run away as fast as possible so the police don't catch her, didn't get her. But because she's basically been shared all over the internet, it was about time. You'd have to go pretty undercover, change your appearance and, have some different wigs, or really take it, I'm trying to think, Mission Impossible style, to really go out of France undetected. Now it seems like she is from Germany. I'm not too sure because the sign actually said go grandma and grandpa, and I think that means go away from the home, because if I return home, or they're gonna come after you and probably look for you too. So I don't know what the sign was or what the whole intent was, and we still don't know. So it'll be interesting to see once she releases a statement. If she does, probably not. The lawyer that either represents her or is appointed to her will probably tell her to lawyer up and not speak to any media. But if she was to give a statement, it'd be interesting what she says in her defense. A number of riders were injured. Sasha Sterling of Team DSM was forced to abandon the race as a result of a severe contusion to his right wrist caused by the crash. The French newspaper L'Equipe reported that the spectator could face a fine of 1,790 USD, which is 1,500 euros. If Sterling, the main victim of the fall, decides to file a complaint and escalates the case to a criminal claim, then the fine could increase to around 15,000 euros or 1,800 USD, and the woman could face a year in prison. It is unknown if the woman has been charged. So it's very important. I want to see this part too. The woman has been arrested, seamlessly puts the end to the rumors that she fled France. Yeah, we all thought she did the dash and she got out of the country, which is where the tour is happening, which is France. On Tuesday, English language outlets including Mail Online and CBS reported that the woman had escaped on a flight out of France. So news reporting has to do a little bit better to make sure that their facts are accurate, and those reports appear to have relied on mistranslation. Most outlets sharing the news of the woman's apparent departure on the plane cited Saturday article from French outlet Ouest France, focusing on the sentence below. I guess English media didn't do a good job translating this sentence, but the original French outlet reported mais juste après l'incident, which means just right after the incident, cette dernière de la nationalité étrangère, which means we didn't know her nationality, but probablement allemande, which means most likely German, après la poutre d'escampette, which means basically she probably took off, which they never said she officially took off. So that made the rumors that she escaped French police and left the country. That's what we all thought, that she got away with it, but she actually was caught. And when you put that into Google Translate, which I did not because I speak fluent French, well, my French is okay because I went to French immersion. I wouldn't say it's Parisian French, but it's decent enough. But just after the incident, the spectator of foreign nationality, probably German, took to the skies, which means that's not a statement, a definite statement saying that reports said that she was in another country and she actually got on a flight. They say they probably took to the skies, jokingly saying she did the dash. I guess that French saying après la poutre d'escampette basically just means she took off, she ran away, she dipped, whatever slang you want to use or terminology. It just basically means she dipped from the scene, she left. It's not a definite that she took to the skies and flew away. So beyond that one line, the Ouest France story, there was no concrete evidence that the woman got on a plane to escape France. News of the woman's arrest comes less than 24 hours after a local prosecutor described the investigation into her whereabouts as progressing well. According to the French language outlet Ouest France, Camille Miassoni, a prosecutor of the Republic of Brest, said at the press conference, "We hope to be able to explain this event within a reasonable amount of time." After the call for witnesses, which was launched in the evening, several testimonies were taken. Obviously, you have to cross-check them. You have to check them out. It takes a little time. I cannot give more details. So now this is the part where I'll share my thoughts regarding the whole situation, the crash. Obviously, I don't need to replay it. You can definitely find it online or on the channel. So right now, I'll be sharing my opinions and thoughts regarding this whole situation. situation. And in no way, like I said at the beginning, am I a lawyer. So I want to have a discussion. I'm not saying what I'm saying is 100% fact or fiction. I'm just, speculating, giving my thoughts, and I want to have a conversation. So in terms of the Tour de France, when accidents like this happen, or just in cycling racing in general, from spectators, I know they have the right as riders and the race organizers to be on the roads, since they do have permission from the police that they can use these roads. Now, it's interesting because they are beside public property, because that's where the grass is and the sidewalks are. It's interesting to see how technical it gets and how a prosecutor would determine someone's in the wrong, because if you're on public property and you're stretching or something along those lines, I think intent is one of those things that has to be obviously investigated. Did she have the intent, and can they prove that she had the intent to endanger riders? Because as a lawyer that's defending her, you can say that, she's very naive, doesn't know any better. This is the first time she's at a cycling race. She was very enthusiastic, maybe a little bit over enthusiastic, which she's very sorry for, but she was on the side of the road, which is public. She was a spectator, and she just had her arms. She didn't know how to judge the speed that they were coming on and all that. Yes, it seems like she was, I'm just speculating what her lawyer would say as defending her. It's like, oh, maybe she was very excited. Maybe she wasn't thinking clearly to have her arms. She thought she'd be able to move it quickly enough. So I don't think the prosecutor has a slam dunk case, because intent is very hard here. It does not seem truly deliberate. That's the one thing I do want to touch up on. It's very foolish. I was very hard on her at the beginning, because this is just so unfortunate. Thousands of dollars, riders injuring themselves for a race that they've practiced all year long, and in this situation, you have someone that doesn't know any better causing a terrible crash that literally has endangered the best riders in the world right now. This is the Tour de France. This is the Super Bowl. This is the World Cup for these riders every year. So I don't think the prosecutor, in my opinion, has a slam dunk case, because you would have to prove intent. And even if she gets slapped with a $20,000 fine, which I don't think she would, and I will be following up because I find this very interesting, because it will set a precedence for spectators being silly. I don't see her spending any time in jail. I just don't think the intent is there, and the prosecutor will be able to prove that. Now, I know they want to try their best to set precedents on this case, but I just don't see it happening, because you have to have deliberate intent. She had a sign. It wasn't a baseball bat. She didn't throw anything on the course. So I don't think the case in any way is going to result in jail time, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Now, in terms of the Tour de France, I think it's a hard case that they have, because when it comes to spectators at the side of the road, I'm watching a race right now. I'm watching the individual time trial for stage 5 currently, and there are barriers, but yet fans are having their hands all over. I've been to UCI events, so the fact that you have barriers doesn't mean a fan can't just reach out and put his arms in, go, and you crash and you injure someone. So there's nothing here. We saw it. I'm pretty sure it was Paris-Roubaix, where Sagan's handlebars got caught by spectators' hoodie. So who's at the fault in that situation? Is it the rider that's running too close to the barriers? Is it the fan with the hoodie? So do you see how technical it gets? It's very interesting, because it's not like the NBA. It's not like FIFA events where you have designed seats where fans are very far from the athletes. We don't have that in cycling. So it's a tricky one, because when you get to the mountains, you have fans riding beside the riders close enough to mess their bikes up, which we've seen in the past. Riders going down because a fan got too close. So it's a hard precedence, because it is so intertwined with the Tour de France and stage racing in that respect. Fans being close and so accessible, especially on climbs when they're going at low speed and there is no barriers. Obviously, you don't see that when they're going fast, because no one can run 40 kilometers an hour. So you usually see fans coming very close on climbs when they're going 10, 15 kilometers uphill. So I think in this situation, it's not going to result in jail time, which you want to be hard on her, but I gotta think from a legal perspective. It's the intent. Was it there to injure, to severely injure riders? Definitely not. Definitely not. She was foolish, reckless, clueless, a bozo, all those things. Because you should have some common sense to think that riders are coming by you 50 kilometers an hour in your hand and having a sign on the road, most likely, if you don't move it in time, will cause a crash. So all that is valid. But her intent was definitely to be on TV, definitely get some clout, definitely be an idiot, but it was not to cause a crash. I don't think so. So for that reason, the prosecutors don't have a case, I think, for jail time. They will have one for endangerment. I think, then again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think reckless endangerment. I don't think deliberate endangerment. So probably a fine of some sort. So I'm very curious to see how things play out because it will set the precedent. And it is a good thing. At the end of the day, we don't want fans coming too close to cyclists. We don't want them being silly. We want them obviously at the side of the road cheering them on. But when I've been to events, you see fans like overreaching, clapping. Like I said, all it takes is a hoodie and someone crashes and you can break something. It can be very terrible. So it is a good precedent. It brings more awareness about fans respecting riders, being away from them on course, and just spectate. That's what a spectator is. It's not a hype person that has to cheer and be crazy. Yes, that's awesome. But obviously, this is what happens. This is what leads to it. So if you can't do it safely from a distance, don't do it at all. And obviously, she was trying to get some brownie points for Grandpa and Grandma with the sign. Just very unfortunate all around. I think the only positive outcome is that no rider was seriously injured, and the fact that this brings more awareness for rider safety. So I would love to hear what you guys think. No jail time, probably a big fine. That's what I think. Love to hear from you guys. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll keep you updated because I want to see how this plays out in court. Until the next one, keep on pedaling.